What's up, people? So, everyone knows what's going on. I assume everyone has been paying attention. I hope everyone has been paying attention anyway. We have a lot going on lately. A lot. So, let's start with Trump. He has become president. We all know this. We've all figured this out. We've all heard this. We've all seen this. Everyone knows. Okay, Trump is president. Or will be president in January anyway. He will take office in January. So now that he is becoming president, he has already stated and mentioned, he's not even in office yet, and he has already stated and mentioned he will have an entire Republican backing. On all Republican backing. And he's going to keep it as I don't know how to put it, racially discriminatory as possible. He's going to make it so that he can have whatever laws he wants put into effect when he wants them put into effect. So basically, he's going to turn around and do things that will hurt the rest of America for his benefit. Including running pipelines, keep pipelines running. Even though they want to put them underneath waters and stuff like that, over waters, anywhere near waters, period, end of statement. Like, is just a no. No pipelines near waters, period, ever. They just need to get that through their heads. No matter if it's Bakken Pipeline, no matter if it's Southern Pipelines, no matter if it's Transfer or Energy Partners, or whatever it may be, you know, can't have this stuff going on. We can't have it. Another thing is Trump wants to put into effect laws that will make discrimination open for LGBT community, and has already stated that. And he will also open up religious freedom bills to open up discrimination for LGBT people too. Basically making it legal to be a racist, judgmental Christian. I'm not saying all Christians are judgmental or racist. You know, people that I don't believe that. I truly don't believe that. Your religion is your religion. You believe what you want to believe. Fact is what's reality is we all live in one single earth, and you cannot hate people for who they are, period, in a statement. Because guess what? We all have freedoms, and we all have rights to live as human beings. Otherwise, we wouldn't be alive in the first place. We would have never been born. So, you know, and that's another thing too. I find it funny that all of the Christians right now are freaking out about this whole, the whole thing with, abortions. How abortions are so terrible and they're so bad and they're just like the end of human existence. And they are just, everybody's out there killing babies. Pretty much is what they're being like, and it's pretty ridiculous. People don't just do that, okay? People don't just go out and kill their baby at 8 months pregnant, okay? The reason why this stuff is done, and the reason why it needs to stay legal and legalized, is because doctors and hospitals and places like that won't even do an abortion after 5 months unless if it will threaten the mother's life. Look this up, people. It's irritating and it's stupid that you would sit here and just say ignorant, angry things at people because your religion believes that it's killing a baby, a live baby. Well, you know what? If it's going to kill the mother, and they know this, and the mother is 8 months pregnant, and there's no coming back from this, the mother will die, or the baby will die at birth. Trust me, they need to do something about it now, before one of them does die. So, and usually if they do that, by the way, people, it makes it so that the mother can have babies later. So she can keep going on and move on and have kids and children later. That's why they do it. So she can live to fight another day and have children later. So move on from it, people. Anyways, so now that I've got that rant out, let's go on and move on to a bunch of other stuff by Trump supporters that's just absolutely ridiculous and dumb. Okay, the whole support of pipelines. Do you guys realize what you are supporting? Do you realize that these companies have literally made oil lakes? We are talking about lakes of oil, and then decided to grow grass, turf grass, over lakes of oil. And not only that, but every single disaster, every single spill that they say they've cleaned up, they never cleaned it up. And when they did say they cleaned it up, they only cleaned up the surface stuff. If you dig down into the dirt, even a half of a foot, you'll find lots and lots and lots of oil. If you dug down and stuck your feet in the sand, in these places where they said they've cleaned, literally oil will come up out of the water. The people around in these areas can't drink the water because they get sick. They get sick. Get leukemia within days of drinking the water in some of these places in the South. And people are telling me that it's okay. That Trump is doing the right thing. He's saving us money. Do you understand? People understand and get it. And please, I ask everyone out there, share the fact that, there's this thing called the Tesla coil generator. I say it again, it's called a Tesla coil generator. What it does is it generates its own coil power from its own coil. That's right. You do not need any other outside source to even start this thing up, get it running, or get it moving on its own pace. Basically, you build this thing, you start it up, you run your batteries, and you don't need to have grid power at all, ever. No more. Don't need it. Oh, well, there goes, what is that? 550 billion gallons of oil every month that we're wasting right there. Okay, so let's move on to the fact that it'll also take away hydropower plants. It'll also take away all of the windmill power plants. It'll take away all of these billion-dollar projects that we've been talking about and we've been spending so much money in America on for so many years. When the Tesla coil generator was invented, when? I think it was 1927. I could be wrong. But the actual Tesla coil generator itself was actually founded by Tesla himself, and in 1907, I do believe, and then it was founded after in 1927 to be an actual invention of Tesla himself, because it was founded in his journals and his books. So I think that's how it goes. Don't quote me on any of that. But the whole fact is this thing exists. It's real. It's a reality. People have been building it for years. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they're doing it all. By the way, I was just told that Tesla invented that in 1891. He actually invented the Tesla coil generator in 1891. That's right. That's over 100 years old. So get it in your thick heads, people. 1891, that's a really long time. It's called the Tesla coil generator. Google it. It's easy. It's really easy. It's literally Google. It'll tell you everything about it. Tesla coil generator. It causes and builds its own power off of a coil. Seriously, a coil. Okay? And then not only that, but you want to talk about diesel. So diesel fuel. Yeah, people tell me all the time that there is no oil out there. There's not any vegetable oil. There's not any oil out there that's thick enough to make diesel or compounded enough to make diesel. I call a crock of shit. You want to know what they've been doing for many of years? Creating this super thick oil that can cause a glaze over things that makes them completely waterproof for very long periods of time. Native Americans have used this oil for a long time, since the beginning of time, since the turn of time. It's called hemp. Look it up, people. Really. No, not marijuana oil, not CBD oil, not any of that stuff. I'm talking about hemp oil. The zero THC derivative hemp. the thing that you can make rope out of, the strongest rope in the world. You don't need poly products, which are made from oil products that come from a crude source. Everything can be done with hemp that we use for oil right now. Okay, understand that, people. I'm talking about paper. I'm talking about plastics. I'm talking about every single thing that we make with crude oil right now. We do not need. It does not need to exist. Period. End of statement. So, going on with that, after the whole Trump thing of why Trump should not be president, is the whole reason why I do what I do. Right now, I'm sure everybody has heard about it. It's called No Dapple. If you're not signed up for a No Dapple rally, it'll be happening tomorrow. It's Stand in Solidarity Day with Apple. We are calling out to have all people stand with us tomorrow. Whether you are in your own state, whether you're in North Dakota, no matter where you're at, go and stand on the freaking street corner. Start your own thing. Stand in solidarity with Standing Rock and show President Obama and show the rest of the world that we will not take this crap. We do not need crude oils. We do not need any of this stuff that they're trying to make us have. We don't need the things that they force and say us that we need to make our economy boost. You know what we need to make our economy boost? We need to build more jobs, and we need to educate people in ghettos and tell them how they can create their own jobs and keep their own societies and communities going instead of bringing them down, telling them that they're pieces of crap and that they'll never make anything of themselves. Instead of doing these things, we need to build them up. I'm sitting literally in a community right now where it has been brought up. People in Washington looked at Seattle and said, okay, we cannot handle having this ghetto anymore. We're going to walk in here. We're going to start supporting these people. We're going to hand them jobs. We're going to hand them ways to get through funds and make society boom and do something for ourselves. So they turned around and they actually did something to make the area that I live in better. I live off of MLK. Yeah, 28th. Oh yeah, that's right. Like Othello area, like hood area. Like used to be hardcore, like gunshots, killings every day. You know, back the hood. Like I hear stories every day from people on my block about how this used to be such a really bad neighborhood and you couldn't even walk up the street without getting shot no matter what color you wore. And now I can walk up and down this neighborhood like there's nothing wrong. And you don't hear a gunshot barely ever. And if you do, it's from the gun range. You know, people don't die every day in my neighborhood anymore. Because it was revamped, rebuilt, and jobs were given. There are jobs here now. There's grocery stores here. There's places here where people can work. There's communities and commutes where people can go back and forth, where they can do whatever they want to do, and they can go and get their jobs. And they can go and they can bust into the city, and they can do whatever they need to do to make an income, to support their families, to buy food, to be U.S. American citizens. Now, I don't know if you guys heard, but Washington State has been declared as a emergency state. That's right. If you feel like you are being provoked by an amount of people for being a certain way, a certain color, a certain religion, a certain society at large, you can move to Washington, find a job, and live free. This is the new America. There are 3 states that have been declared as the quote-unquote new America. That is Arizona, California, and Washington. That's right, all of the West Coast. People need to realize that the West Coast is getting it right. They're putting it together. They're giving jobs to people. They're boosting their economies and boosting their cities. They're starting to make lives. And lives matter. They're starting to make Black lives matter, and Muslim lives matter, and LGBT lives matter. They're making lives matter, period. Now, I still stand by Black Lives Matter, and I'm still a part of Black Lives Matter, and the problem is I always will be. And I guess that is a problem to the rest of society, but it's not a problem to me, and it's not a problem to my friends, my family. Okay? Understand that I will always be a part of Black Lives Matter, and yet I will always say that lives do matter. And that's because the promotion of black hate in this world, African American hate, and the racist society that we have lived in for all of our lives, the beginning of America, when black African American people were brought here, they were brought here under contentions of slavery and hate, to be discarded as nothing. Understand that's not okay. And ever since, they've been going through injustices throughout society. And every single time that their economy has been boosted, every single time that an act has been created, 1851 Act, the Act of 1907, all of these creations and these acts that went through to make better of their lives, everything was okay for a year or two. Let's go back into when they put in plants into Detroit, the big plant boom in the 30s, okay, and the big plant boom in the 60s and 70s and stuff. Before these ghettos became really hardcore ghettos in the 60s and 70s, like the 40s and 50s and stuff like that, you know? I mean, we really need to look at that stuff, because before all of that stuff happened, we had Detroit. That's right. Look back at Detroit. Why don't you guys look back at it? Before it was ghettos, and before it was hardcore, before we took the industries out of there, and before we made them into an erratic, angry people again, took their jobs and their livelihoods away from them. They were rich, intersecular families in a rural area, and they made lives for themselves, and they had their own jobs, and they supported themselves, and the streets were thriving, and everything was great. And we went in and we did injustice to them. And since the 60s and 70s, we've been telling them that they have freedom, and yet we've been putting them in ghettos and burning down buildings and not letting them create businesses and making it taxably unable for them in certain areas to become business owners. Do you realize that there's a 2 to 3% tax in every single ghetto that's higher than it is in every single rich area? Did you guys know that? It's higher property and land taxes to own a business in the ghetto than it is to own a business in a huge, giant West Omaha or whatever, that's because that's where I'm originally from, area. You know what I mean? Like a big, I don't know how to put it, a big middle class family neighborhood. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, you know? They make it so that literally you cannot own a business in the ghetto. And if you do, yeah, I mean, people are going to either support you or they're going to hate you. It depends on what you're coming at and what you're coming into the ghetto to do. Are you coming into the ghetto to take their money, or are you coming into the ghetto to support their community and give jobs? Are you going to be supporting them with jobs, or are you going to be running this business by yourself and not helping anyone out and taking people from other places out of the outside ghetto area? You guys need to think about this stuff. They have been segregated, so they know segregation. If you want to run good businesses in the ghettos, then what we need to do is we need to take the people that are in the ghettos and hire those people for the people in the ghettos. they're the only ones who understand what they've went through all their life. And until we get these ghettos in these rural areas to not be ghettos in rural areas like Seattle, then we can make a total change. We can start putting industrial, and we can start putting big areas and big things in. We can start making things matter. But until then, we are leaving them stuck. We are holding them back. And you as Republicans, and you as Trump supporters, and people that are going to be supporting one of the biggest presidents in the world need to realize this. And the president himself also needs to realize this. Ghettos are not ghettos because ghettos make themselves ghettos. Ghettos are ghettos because people make them ghettos. Because we have created them, we have held them there, and we have kept them there for all of their lives. We have told them that they can't make anything of themselves, and we have not given them the education systems to make anything of themselves. We have not given them any support in their own neighborhoods and towns. We try to give them jobs and make them go back into the ghettos where they can get robbed again, where they can get hurt and beaten and used, because there's no jobs inside of the ghettos for the rest of the people that are there. So yeah, we're holding back anybody who does have a job that lives in the ghetto. We are still holding them back. Understand that. Unless if that job is in the ghetto itself and is a block away from them, it does not matter. They're paying for transportation costs, they're paying for this, they're paying for that, and then they have to worry about being robbed when they go back home into the ghettos because that's all the places that they can afford. Such as $7 minimum wages. That's all I got. Love and light. Thank you.